Greetings, and welcome back to Courageous Motherhood. It is a rainy, thundering evening here, and so I decided to do my Sabbath study with a fire, and it's so beautiful. But anyway, I want to share with you guys this particular verse in Isaiah 59, 18 through 21. It says, according to their deeds, so will he repay. Wrath to his adversaries, repayment to his enemies. To the coastlands he will render repayment. So they shall fear the name of the Lord from the west, and his glory from the rising of the sun. For he will come like a rushing stream, which the wind of the Lord drives. And a Redeemer will come to Zion, to those in Jacob who turn from transgression, declares the Lord. Verse 21, and as for me, this is my covenant with them, says the Lord. My spirit that is upon you, and my words that I have put in your mouth, shall not depart out of your mouth, or out of the mouth of your offspring, or out of the mouth of your children's offspring, says the Lord, from this time forth and forevermore. And so, covenant, right? One of the signs of God's covenant with us is the rainbow. And I saw a beautiful, magnificent rainbow this past weekend. Whenever I see them, I have to get pictures of them. But just contemplating just all the things in life. And there's different types of covenant, right? But one of the most important covenants is the one that we have with God. And so when I was reading through this particular chapter and verses today, it was just really a beautiful reminder that even when we fail our human covenants, God keeps his covenants with us. And those covenants are typically intergenerational. And so there may be prayers that you have for your children. I know for me, probably for the last, I want to say it's been about maybe 7 to 9 months, where I felt like regardless of whatever else I was praying for, I've been really just praying for God to encounter my children. And they are all very different ages, very different stages of life. And so I know that looks different, but it's less about praying about their church attendance or praying about whatever, other auxiliary things that we think means relationship with God. But I'm like, no, Lord, meet them wherever they are, whether it's in their room, in their bathroom, in a book that they're reading, like something that is pertaining to their life and that is unique to them, but also asking God to communicate with them in a way that is particular to them, right? And so for me, that is something that God does all the time. And it makes the relationship that we have so much richer and sweeter. I know there's a lot of folks that, rightfully so, are disappointed and turned off or hurt by a lot of religious rhetoric. I see you. Church spaces, church people, right? Because humans are humans. And we are what makes up the actual church is like human beings with their own faults and strengths and personalities and the whole nine. But at the end of the day, one of the things that I really appreciate is just like my personal, intimate relationship with God. And if I had just the greatest wish ever, it would be that each of my children, my family members, my loved ones, that they would have that as well. And so reading this covenantal promise in Isaiah, he's just talking about so much here. Isaiah is chock full of awesomeness, rebuke, and a whole bunch of other stuff. But when you start getting to probably Isaiah 55 through 63, it kind of goes through the rebuke and then it goes to like the promises. But one of the things that I love about it is that it's constantly talking about and then your children and your children's children, right? And as mothers, especially as women and in birth work, we all know that when a mother is pregnant with a girl, with a daughter, they are actually carrying the eggs, the ovaries of their baby is carrying the eggs of their grandchildren. So for every mother that is pregnant with a girl, you are literally carrying a portion of your grandchildren. And so thinking about and having generational impact is definitely woven into literally our biology, right? Like in our biology is this care and connection to further generations. And I think that it's just really a beautiful reflection of God's design, right? Like if it wasn't intergenerational, it would probably be cut off and separated a little bit differently. But that's one of the facts that's like really impactful for me, especially as somebody that was very close and is very close to my grandmother. It's like, oh, like, girl, we've been hanging out since you was pregnant with my mom. Like, you know, just thinking about that fact, right? And how it is like that. Now, obviously, boys are different. When you're carrying your sons, you're not carrying your future grandchildren. And so it really is a beautiful, special thing for carrying those daughters of ours. But I really just love the parallel to the acknowledgement of generations. Now, we have, generational, what do we call it? Curses and outcomes, meaning like, I don't know exactly what the verse is, but it talks about how the child pays for the sins of the father. And then it says like up to 3 generations. And so we're constantly seeing that conversation about up to this many generations, up to this generation. But it's not just punishment or curses and things like that. It's also generational blessings. It's also protection, generational honor, all those things that we tend to not really think about and highlight. It's so interesting how we think that we are just living in this silo, like our life is just our life, and okay, sure, nature versus nurture. But even when you're thinking about some of those psychological perspectives, and they don't really hit on a intergenerational level most of the time, not unless you're talking about like epigenetics. But typically, formally in psychology, it's literally just gonna be like the parents, the environment that you grew up in, their presence, their absence, what they did or didn't do to impact your environment, what kind of predilections they had, whether it's like addiction or things like that. But looking at this ancient text that is constantly talking about generations, I think once we get into, I don't know if it's the end of Genesis, let me take a look here, and Exodus, but that's where you really start getting into, and so-and-so was a son of so-and-so and so-and-so and so-and-so and so, like it's really just a documentation of lineage that is so long. Like when you start reading through some of those chapters and verses, you're just like, wait, what? But it shows you, like, even when you're documenting things 10, 12, 15, 20 generations, it's taking you through like all of these people in the Bible, who they're related to, who they married, who their sons and daughters were, and then it brings you to Christ, or it brings you to some other person of interest that they want to highlight at that particular part of the Bible, the chapter and verse. And so I really, I'm just really enjoying that. And then looking within my own family, having conversations, talking about genealogy, understanding the personalities and the stories of the people that came before me, and looking at how my story impacts my children, and it will impact my children's children, you know, the decisions that they make based upon their childhood, whether it's something that they appreciate or something that they don't appreciate, something that they want to keep, a tradition or a practice or perspective that they want to keep, or something that they don't. We all kind of shape our parenting journey according to that, but it gets so much deeper. And when we're putting that understanding next to, or parallel to rather, I'm sorry, this puppy is doing the most. When we have that parallel to our spiritual journey, and then you look, and then in my faith practice, seeing that like that generational language of blessings and promises, or curses and consequences, is still aligned with that generational the generational vibes, if you will. It's just pretty dope. So I was thinking about that tonight. I'm not sure if you guys can hear the rain on my window, but it's just such a beautiful rainy night, and a beautiful fire to just sit and meditate on this. So I'm just thinking about family, thinking about this particular word, and thinking about God's covenant with us, and just how covenant is not just with us as individuals, it is with generations after us, and it was probably with generations before us. I know for me, I definitely had a praying grandmother, and so oftentimes I wonder if, the different things that I've been protected from, or the different blessings and opportunities and things, what did my grandparents pray for me? What were their hopes and their dreams? What were some of the decisions that they made that allowed for me to be where I am, right? That could be positive, that could be negative, that could be neutral, it could be anything. But really just being grateful for God's particular promises. And I know for me, that's definitely something that I prayed for. So I know if as a mother, I prayed for that. And I know that I come from a praying grandmother. I'm just thinking of I can only imagine what the lives of my grandchildren will be like based upon the prayers that I'm praying today, based upon the covenant that God has with me, and all the children and people that will come from my lineage. And so it's just a beautiful evening to contemplate that. I know you guys hear the thunder. I know you see the lightning kind of flashing on my face. So I'm definitely going to hop off, because I'm not trying to be on technology while all the thunder and lightning is going. But yeah, it's just a beautiful reminder on this beautiful Sabbath evening. And so I hope that you guys are having an amazing evening as well. And I just wanted to share. So I'll see you guys next time. Bye.